All right, so we're about to go in and meet Pascal, the founder of Beat Surfing. Pascal is going to introduce me to a plugin called LØW. Let's go in and find out what he has to say about it.
I'm Pascal, the CEO and co-founder of the company, and today we are really in the final stage of the product. It starts to crystallize, and in a few days we'll be able to put that in the hands of the people and hear what they are able to make with it.
So LØW is the plugin. Can you tell me more about it?
The intention is to have the plugin produce really heavy bassline, so everything from the very deep 808 to reeds to stuff that really shine to the ears. And I started this as a small prototype maybe a year ago, because in the past I used to be mix and master engineer. When you mix a bass, there is no like one size fit all. Everything is possible actually, and usually you have to deal with what you get as the source and process with dynamics and EQ and stuff like that, because sometimes you want to have a lot of sustain in the low end. Sometimes you need the low end to come a bit after the attack or only during the attack. Same stuff for the mids. And actually it was a lot of time playing with ducking, envelope, etc. to have the bass that really fits what the mix was expecting. And I had this idea from that frustration actually when mixing a French track. Oh, it could be great to have envelope on the 808, not only for the main spectrum, but one envelope for the low end, one envelope for the mids, etc. So you don't have to play with post-processing, you can just draw the dynamics you need and just have it right away. And I was on that idea, and I just made like a 20-minute little prototype in Max for Live. I said, okay, that's cool. I was using it for months only for me, and then everybody was starting to using it. Jean was starting to using it. Okay, maybe there is something into it. At the beginning, those envelopes in the first prototype, as I mentioned, it was just standard ADSR, and we went from something that you can literally draw, and then we add loop points into it. So it was the beginning of a month of experimenting and then a month of finishing the actual product, and today we are really close to finish it.
Wonderful. So the idea is very big bass lines, kind of like, let's say, an 808, but with several layers, so you can have envelopes that affect the distortion or the high textures that are inside of it, and those envelopes then can be drawn in and they can be looped as well.
Yes.
Right? That's sick. It's very cool to have a tool that does just one job super well like this, because another one of your plugins that worked very well was this Random Metal, right? Yeah, we spoke about it a while ago, and I really enjoyed exploring that one. And it was just like the idea of metallic percussion with all these different synthesis engines. So it's amazing to have another tool like this that just really nails one idea super strongly. So when you open up LØW, this is what you get to see, and you hit a note and you're instantly going to get a filthy bass. Right? One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to night mode, because it's my preference. And let's look at what's going on here together. So essentially, LØW is a synthesizer, right? It's a monophonic bass synthesizer. And usually you can think of a synthesizer as having an oscillator, which creates the sound identity, and then the filter, which sort of sculpts the sound identity. The same idea works here quite well, but you have to just think of it as a very alive and complex oscillator going into a very versatile filter right after it. So the character of the oscillator is really alive. You see, as I hold a note, you see how it goes through an attack phase, then stays in this hold loop, and then tails off. That's an idea that's going to be repeated throughout the plugin again and again and again. So an attack phase, a loop, and then an end phase. And rather than just having waveforms, there's basically a whole bunch of different synthesis engines under the hood. They're all really complex, and I guess that's kind of the point, is that you don't necessarily understand exactly how they work. That way it becomes a game of playful exploration within the plugin. For example, here's gravity, here's iron drop, this is the bass third. I can just hold a note. You can see that there's a lot of different vibes in the different engines, and then the seeds further randomize things. Oh, sick. So in these sections you can draw in how much, for example, you want the DNA to work in the attack, what you want it to do in the hold, and then what you want it to do in the release phase. See how it just stays here? It's got a lot of randomness. Now it's really periodic. So you got a bunch of controls. See how that flutters? Fun. You've also got controls over the impact, so the transients, the pitch impact at the start. And exploring this plugin is honestly a joy in itself. You can also click warp, and so you can move your shapes around. And then there's a few modifiers at the top that allow you to fractalize it or create complexity or smooth it out. So you can do macroscopic movements very smoothly like this to try and figure out where the sweet spot is for what you're trying to do. And once you've got the character of the sound pretty much nailed down, you can move to the filter section, and you just have to think of the filter section as 3 bands, high, mid, and low. So it's like a multi-band EQ basically. You can say how much do I want my bass frequencies to move, how much do I want my mid frequencies to move, and how much do I want my high frequencies to move. And then you can do it on the left for the impact, for the transient, and on the right for the body or the sustain of the sound. So you can see here, what if I want the high fizzle to be more prominent? Well, I would increase that, I would increase the gain of the highs, and then I would also maybe change the cutoff here, the crossover frequencies. Sick. Take away some of the bass. So now it's mostly just the rattle. And another unique thing is that these filters can move along with the notes that you're playing so that they follow you up and down the keyboard as needed. Whoa. This thing is full of happy accidents, so it's great to keep one hand on a keyboard as you're searching for things.
Usually there is like a lot of stuff happening in the backend. We are very lucky, we are in a very close relationship with the people at MaxMSP. They got this amazing things called RNBO, and actually RNBO is a tool that allows you to patch and export C++ code. Okay. So you see there is like 6 people coding in the company, so they are doing like C++ things, but myself, especially when prototyping and sometimes even for the real code, I use RNBO because I'm more of an artist than a developer. So I'm not really trained on code. I can read code, but and so I will show you how it looks. When the product starts, it's only like this, and when the more the product grows, the more we add C++ things around and recode stuff from Max into C++, etc. But it's really a great opportunity. It just happened actually when we start to release our first plugin. RNBO was just released at the time, so we were very lucky to have this because in the past I was doing like this is only like the big picture from far away, but if you enter any oscillator, it's like mess like that. But actually this is if you enter one of those boxes, there is still, it's like Russian doll things, and this is really my comfort zone actually. This is really amazing because you don't have to be super good at code to make new things, because you've got all these building blocks like just plus, minus, modulo, etc. And if you know all the classical synthesis technique, you can make new one actually. It's crazy. I don't understand why we always do the same stuff. And actually it's just about coding something that is somehow periodic. And so we have total freedom of what we can do, and Max is really great to explore that, because you don't have to code the whole algorithm, ask the computer to compile, and then hear it. You can just do it. So usually when I code, I have my left hand on the keys and the right hand on the code, so you can just hear what you code, actually have this feedback loop. It's like when making music. To me, I was making music all my life before starting the company, and I feel really the same process. Let's say we have 20 oscillator now in the plugin at the stage we are now, but this one is the 45, and maybe there is like, before having this batch of oscillator, I have another format of oscillator, and maybe already like 15, and actually a lot of work just was throw away, and it allowed to have a kind of curation. It's like making an album. You make a lot of tracks, you finish some, you don't like this one anymore, and you want to rework that one.
Mm-hmm.
So the process is kind of close, like it was in random metal, to releasing an album. And it's a collective effort from multiple people around the same vision. There is still an artistic process happening here. All the code is not made from it, but it's really an amazing opportunity to explore new things and see how it sounds. You know, like not have to rely as well on analog synthesis or FM or just whatever you want. If you want to just make FM, but maybe like do AM, the same stuff, or use a delay on the FM signal, everything actually is possible, and I was able to share some of those new techniques with the people at MaxMSP, and I expect to see that popping in the next update. Maybe, hey, now you can do that in FM.
Yeah.
It's fucking simple, and actually, as I've self-trained, I cannot come with an algorithm that uses crazy math that nobody understands actually.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it's like music. It's like music theory. Once you get it, it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of simple things acting in a network.
Mm-hmm.
More than something really impressive. Like it's having transversal new ideas and connect those building blocks in a way that was never done before. Mm-hmm. So it's exactly when you produce music, it's the same mindset to me. So even if I make less music, I still fill that gap by coding the engine. So you go from this, it's probably like 6 months of work for 10 people, more than full time. Go from that to that actually. So it started in Max for Life, went to Max, from Max to RNBO, to RNBO to C++, and to C++ to this. So there's a lot of layer of things to make the product.
It feels very alive.
Yeah. It's like when you produce, sometimes you put stuff that nobody will notice that. I'm coding, I always, it would be great if those two parameters are slightly, give extra care and extra love in everything. So it's not like pure math. There is a layer of kind of analog feel.
Yeah.
Like those 100 of parameters under the hood that play with the DNA. Some are changing the sound really quick. Some have some low pass on it, or so when you move. Not everything is moving like one block, and more like like of something made of jelly.
That's one thing I felt when playing with random metal, was that you would choose one algorithm or one synthesis method, and then get to know it because it behaves in like a weird way. It doesn't just feel like an oscillator and a filter or something.
It has a personality.
It has a personality, yeah.
This is why, probably because the album approach we just talked before. It's like an album, and with song, you just don't want to make a triangle or a square. You want to make something that has an emotional value, or that give you some aspiration.
Yeah, well, I really look forward to playing around with it, man.
I can't wait to see you make stuff with it, because myself I use it mostly to make like deep kick, etc. But actually I never play with arpeggio or shorter sequence, different octave, explore it in a way even us didn't intended to play with it and take advantage of this exploration. The way you can explore the signal. One big effort I made as well is on the stereo, because I like to have stereo bass line. But stereo is not good for bass. So I'm trying to find a way to make stereo that actually convert pretty well to mono. And I explore maybe 10 or 20 ways to make that. I hope that it could. Maybe the sounds you can produce, it go from the standard 808 that everybody know to something like that sounds like the nowadays music. I expect to have the synth able to produce the what's next.
The future of bass music.
Because I become a bit old now to make the future of music, but maybe the user can take that, mess with it, misunderstand something and make a happy accident, and maybe if he can make like a new kind of growl or new kind of music with it. Actually, this is why we make tools. We expect the people to use it in a different way. But let's say for the stereo, one of the little tricks we had, this has effect when you put a bit of delay in between your two ears. Actually, you can just put this has effect on the envelope, not on the oscillator. So if you zoom, you've got this two envelope like this. But if you zoom at this point and watch the waveform, when the two envelopes are open, they are in phase actually. So all those little things add together make the sounds really like broad and fat, and still convert great to mono, still cut to vinyl, to records. I expect to hear a lot of stereo bass line the future of
Sick.
music. It's really great for music with the bass is the
Yeah.
center. You know, I was watching the video you made about the noise in the.
Oh yeah, that just came out this week. Yeah. It was funny because when we met a few weeks ago, I was like, "Oh, I've been thinking a lot about bass," and you were like, "Well, I've also been thinking a lot about bass."
Yeah.
So it's a good timing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy to see that one.
Yeah.
Maybe it could connect somehow to what's coming. I have a prototype because we started the little one when you pass by.
Yeah.
When playing with the noise, you know, modulating the amplitude by the sine, etc. I didn't have time to finish it, but maybe after 1 month or two after the release, we always like give little candies to users to add more features. Maybe we'll have Oscar oscillator in the synth. I need to name them actually. So today I need to name all the 20 oscillator. So we will add this.
Please do. I will be an honor to be a part of it. Thanks for showing us this.
Thanks for passing by.
Yeah, it's really exciting. No way! Oh, wrecked. Oh my god, didn't even get you once.